afternoon, and thank you for joining us on this Friday, October 22nd. Live from the Beasley Media Complex in Boone, this is the Appalachian Weekly News. I'm Xanayra Marin-Lopez.
And I'm Biddix.
As of Monday, there are 14 active COVID-19 cases in students and 8 in employees. This makes a total of 22 active cases on App State's campus, up 5 from last week. This week, cases in students went down, while cases in employees went up. 52% of Watauga County is fully vaccinated. 64% of students have received their vaccine, as well as 94% of employees. You can get vaccinated on campus at Health Services by calling 828-262-3100. Health Services has all 3 vaccines. According to the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services, a Pfizer booster is available for high-risk groups, such as those 65 or older, or those with severe medical conditions.
Flu season is right around the corner, and that means flu shots are now readily available. COVID vaccines and boosters are also now available, which has brought up the question, can they be combined together? While health experts say it absolutely can be combined together and it is totally safe and are encouraging people to get them at the same time. Dr. Ranit Mishori says, quote, "It's 2 for the price of 1 and get 1 in each arm. It's an efficient and effective way to make sure you're protected," end quote. It is especially suggested that adults over the age of 65 receive both as they are the most at risk. You can visit apphealthcare.com to learn more about locations for these vaccines.
Watauga County is currently holding early voting for the municipal general elections. A new mayor as well as new town council seats will be selected in Boone. Only one candidate is running for mayor, Tim Futrell. 3 spots are open on town council. Running for those are Todd Carter, John Dalton George, Benjamin Ray, Virginia Roseman, Adrian Tate, and Eric Woolridge. And running for town council on an unexpired term ending in 2023 is Eric Brown, Christy M. Cook, Rebecca Nanau, and Eddie Tugman. You can vote early in the Watauga County Administration Building from 8 to 5 on weekdays and from 8 to 3 October 30th. Voting is also available on campus in the Blue Ridge Ballroom from 10 to 4 on Monday to Fridays and 8 to 3 on Saturday, October 30th. Photo ID is not required to vote.
A man found dead on the Blue Ridge Parkway has been identified as a homicide victim. Josu Calderon of Rhode Island was found stabbed to death at the Yadkin Valley Overlook at milepost 289.8. It is not known how Calderon ended up on the parkway, as his family said he does not have a car and they did not know of any travel plans. The case is now under investigation from special agents from the National Park Service Investigative Services Branch. Investigators have said there is no ongoing concern for public safety as peak week arrives, one of the busiest times of the year for the parkway.
What was a missing persons case from 2 years ago in Sugar Grove is now closed after remains were found of 36-year-old Timothy John Trivett. No foul play is suspected. Trivett went missing in March 2019 and his vehicle was left at Guy Ford Bridge. A search was conducted in the area by the Watauga County Sheriff's Office, but nothing came from it. Several months after the search, a fisherman in Tennessee reported seeing a human skull when fishing. After investigation, the skull was identified as Trivett. Now, Stephen, with December coming up and a lot of students graduating in this early semester, it's about time they start looking for jobs.
Yeah, I know a lot of us are seniors and have kind of started to begin that process. Well, our very own Mia Mendez is at the Career Center at the Convocation Center on the scene.
It's career fair season here in Boone as December commencement approaches. Throughout the past few weeks, the Career Development Center has hosted many major specific events in order to help better connect current students to employment opportunities around North Carolina, as well as connecting them with current and future alumni. This morning, I got the chance to check out the Education Career Fair right here at Holmes. As the weather gets colder, the countdown to graduation for some students gets smaller and smaller, with App State having roughly 1,700 students graduate each December, according to App State Today. With all of those graduates ready to hit the workforce, many wonder what the next step after school will look like. I got the chance to speak with 2 alumni, the superintendent and assistant superintendent of Caldwell County Schools.
We have had great success with students from Appalachian, student teaching and spending time in the system. So we've got wonderful relationship plus the personal experiences that we've had. So this is a place we're always going to be.
I got the the chance to speak with Jennifer Schaefer, Associate Director of Employee Relations and Marketing, and Deanne Smith, Assistant Director for Employee Relations and Development of the Career Development Center.
The mission is really to provide opportunities for students to network with employers, build their skills in sort of career management, like doing their research on the organizations that are going to be present here, taking the initiative to go out and talk to people and, just sort of interact and perfect their elevator pitch.
Here at the Holmes Convocation Center, students that were interested in working in the education field were able to visit with public, private, and charter school districts from across the state, as well as making connections with multiple alumni. For a full list of events held by the Career Development Center, be sure to check out www.appstate.careers.com. And for the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Mia Mendez.
Thanks so much for that, Mia. Sounds like a great opportunity for students. Like Mia said, you can check the Career Development Center's website to see whenever they're having one of these career fairs again, and we suggest you bring a resume and dress nice.
2 former Appalachian State students involved in the drug bust during December of 2020 have been sentenced to federal prison. Kyle Beckner and Devin McDonald both submitted guilty pleas in February for their role in the drug ring. Beckner is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to distribute LSD and McDonald 1 count of conspiracy to distribute cocaine. Beckner is sentenced to 18 months in a federal prison and McDonald 2 years with an additional year of supervised release. The drug ring consisted of students from Appalachian State, UNC, and Duke, where $1.3 million worth of drugs were exchanged over a period of 3 years.
2 bird species native to North Carolina, the ivory-billed woodpecker and the Bachman's warbler, were declared extinct by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service in late September. Because of trees being cut down for resources, they faced a harder task of finding homes within the past decade. There have been little to no sightings of the birds within the last few years. Many other species native to the state, such as the Blackburnian warbler, the winter wren, the ovenbird, and the yellow-billed cuckoo, are currently threatened as well.
If you've been outside lately, you may have noticed there's a bit of chill in the air. We are now technically 2 months away from the first day of winter, but we all know here in the high country it starts a little bit earlier. Ray Russell of Ray's Weather Center has released his Winter Fearless forecast for the upcoming winter. Russell is expecting temperatures to be average and snowfall to be right around 30 inches. Russell states that the reason for the average winter is due to it being inside of neutral conditions in the La Nina cycle. We will remain in the La Nina cycle for all of winter before heading back to neutral conditions.
Many people across Watauga County constantly struggle with food insecurity. Our correspondent Grace Powers has the story on an event using sustainability to fight food insecurity.
Each year, the town gathers together here on Sanford for a locally sourced meal known as the Community Feast. But 30% of Watauga residents don't have dependable access to food. But this event highlights how sustainability can be the key to fighting food insecurity.
The Community Feast is organized by the Appalachian Food Research for Equity, Sustainability, and Health Collaborative. The goals of the event are to encourage conversation about the importance of sustainable food, minimizing waste, maximizing local food sourcing, and providing resources for those who are food insecure. I talked to App State's Sustainability Outreach Director, Rebecca Walton, about how sustainability correlates to food insecurity.
Equity plays a huge part in sustainability. If we want a sustainable world, everybody needs to have equitable solutions and just have as much equity as possible. And so food insecurity is an unfortunate circumstance that a lot of people find themselves in when they're in unequitable situations. And so you can't have sustainable food without equity.
I also spoke with Carla Ramsdell of the Physics and Astronomy Department about one of her sustainable initiatives targeting food insecurity.
We're initiating a series of cooking classes called Cooking with Purpose. You can contact the Office of Sustainability about those. This semester they're targeted for students who are food insecure that don't feel confident with their cooking skills. And so we just meet on Zoom. It's really fun. There's no prior cooking skills necessary. The Office of Sustainability Mountaineer Food Pantry is providing all the ingredients. So it's kind of like a Blue Apron. You just grab the ingredients and then you join me on a Zoom call.
If you or someone you know is struggling with food insecurity, make sure to visit casemanagement.appstate.edu/food insecurity for a detailed list of resources for on-campus and off-campus food pantries. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Grace Powers.
If you're looking to get for the Nexon Ringers Community Handball Choir. The choir is looking for adults that can read music. You don't need experience playing the handbell, and you don't need to be a churchgoer at Boone Methodist. If you're interested in the choir, contact the choir director, Dana Davis, via email at dana@booneumc.org or by phone at 828-264-6090, extension 246.
Stand-up comedian Henry Cho will be performing at the Appalachian Theater of the High Country on Saturday, October 23rd. The show will be from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. and tickets are $28. Cho is an avid performer at the Grand Ole Opry and is an Appalachian native growing up in Knoxville, Tennessee. Cho has also appeared on The Tonight Show and The Late Late Show throughout his career.
Apple Hill Farm in Banner Elk will offer trick-or-treat farm tours from October 27th to the 30th. Costumes are welcome as you learn about the alpacas, llamas, and goats in the farm. Your tour ghoul will guide you through the farm, talk about the animals, and offer candy. Tours are in groups of 12 and run every half hour from 4 to 6. You must get tickets in advance on their website, applehillfarmandc.com. It's $15 for trick-or-treaters or $12 for non-trick-or-treaters.
So we all know App State had a great football win on Wednesday night, but there's so many more fall sports still to go.
And we can't wait to hear from you, Josh. What more have you got for sports for us this week?
Yeah, guys, as you alluded to, it was a historic night on Wednesday for the entire Appalachian State football program. And this was a game that past and present App State students, such as myself and the entire town of Boone, will never forget. Our correspondent, Zach White, has more.
On Wednesday, October 20th, Appalachian State football took on the ranked Coastal Carolina here at Kidd Brewer Stadium in an all-out brawl. Both teams had a lot to play for, with Coastal looking to remain undefeated and App State looking to prove that they are still a top contender in the Sun Belt. After last week's crushing loss to Louisiana, App State welcomed the Chanticleers into Boone with a big chip on their shoulder. The newly blossoming rivalry between the two all began last season when App State fell to Coastal for the first time, resulting in a loss of the Sun Belt East. This time around, it was an entirely different story, as the two teams put on a fiery performance all night, coming down to the wire as Chandler Staten made the game-winning kick for App State to send the final score to 30-27.
This team is going to be something special, and I still haven't done what I wanted to do here. And tonight was exactly what I was looking for.
Other players who had a special game included Chase Bryce, who completed 18 for 28 passes, resulting in almost 350 yards, along with wide receiver Malik Williams. Williams made 10 receptions for a stunning 208 yards plus a touchdown. Here's what some of the players, along with head coach Sean Clark, had to say about the performance.
I think I've been here 6 years, and that's probably the best crowd, best atmosphere I've been a part of here. I think hands down.
And I mean, when you can pack out the rock on a Wednesday like that, a sold out game, have people coming from all over the place just to support us after, last week, I mean, it's a sweet feeling. So, I mean, this was like an all-around great win for just App Nation as a whole, really.
And we just weren't getting that momentum, but then we found it. Then we started rolling. The onside kick was huge for momentum and kind of tying the game back up. So
from last week, everybody we still believe, even though we were down, we all still believe, we could still come back and win.
But there's nobody in this program that believes black and gold more than Sean Clark does. It's about those kids, about this program, it's about everybody who's came here before us that laid the foundation for this great university.
Regardless of the score, one thing's for sure, it was an incredible game to watch. For the Appalachian Weekly News, I'm Zach White.
Incredibly to watch indeed. The Mountaineers will look to continue to keep the momentum going as they remain in Boone for next Saturday's homecoming conference matchup against the University of Louisiana Monroe. Kickoff for next Saturday's contest at The Rock begins at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN+. App State Volleyball also took care of business at home against Louisiana Monroe, beating the Warhawks 3-0 on Sunday. The Mountaineers improved to 3-5 in the Sun Belt, 7-13 overall, while the Warhawks dropped to 1-8 in the Sun Belt, 5-19 overall. McCall Denny led the black and gold with 12 kills, contributing to a grand total of 44. Graduate defensive specialist Emma Riley, fresh off of recording her 2,000th career TIG against Louisiana, added 19 more on Sunday. App State swept all 3 sets, winning by 14 points in the first, 8 in the second, and 16 in the third set. The Mountaineers travel to take on the UT Arlington Mavericks tonight at 7 p.m. on ESPN+. App State women's soccer won their first conference matchup against Louisiana Lafayette last night, taking down the Raging Cajuns 2-0. The Mountaineers improved to 1-8 in Sun Belt Conference play, 5-10 overall, while Louisiana drops to 3-4-2, 6-9-2 overall. Sophomore forward Brecken Monteith scored her first goal for App State in the first half, thanks to an assist from junior forward Haley Boyles. Katie Boyles scored the second and final goal of the game in the second half. She would lead the team in shots with 3 total. Junior goalkeeper Carrie Eagleston led a strong defensive effort for the Black and Gold, tallying 11 saves. The Mountaineers wrap up the regular season against Little Rock this Sunday, Senior Day, at 1 p.m. at the Ted Mackerel Soccer Complex on ESPN+. App State field hockey took advantage of a strong defensive effort to take down LaSalle 3-1 on Sunday. Junior forward Sarah Farrell struck first for the Mountaineers 8 minutes into the game. The goal was her team-leading 5th of the season. Senior midfielder Frederica Stegen gave the Mountaineers a 2-1 lead after scoring her 3rd goal of the season in the second period of the match. Senior midfielder Sydney Lee scored App State's 3rd goal, eventually sealing the win. The second half saw App State hold LaSalle to no points and 6 shots, highlighting a standout defensive effort. The Mountaineers face off against 24th-ranked Kent State, their final home game of the season this afternoon at 4 p.m., streaming live on Twitch. The Watauga Pioneers women's tennis team dominated the Northwestern 4A Conference tournament on Tuesday, fresh off of finishing the regular season with an undefeated 10-0 record. The Pioneers, who hosted the tournament, were one of 3 teams to participate. Watauga achieved team, singles, and double conference championships and will look to keep the momentum going as they set their sights on regionals and dual-team playoffs. Individual playoffs begin today as the regional matchups take place at Audrey Kell High School in my hometown in Charlotte. The Watauga Pioneers football team made a statement last Friday night as they upended the High Britain Panthers 49-13, spoiling their homecoming game. The Pioneers came out aggressive early, jumping out to a 21-0 lead over the Panthers by the conclusion of the first quarter. By halftime, the lead was 28-6. And by the fourth quarter, with their lead extended to 49-6, Watauga had all but sealed the win. Pioneers standouts Maddox Green and Trey Thompson had 3 touchdowns apiece. Last Tuesday night's win puts the Mountaineers at 6-2 in sole possession of first place in the Northwestern Conference. They will look to keep the momentum rolling against the 4-3 Freedom Patriots tonight at 7:30 p.m. So guys, it was a great week for App State Athletics as well as Watauga County Athletics. Lots of W's all around. Back to you.
Thanks, Josh, and sounds like lots of opportunities for wins coming up soon, and I can't wait for homecoming. 3 App State community members were awarded with W.H. Plemons Leadership Medallions, recognizing their leadership roles on campus. The 3 Mountaineers were staff members Jason Marshburn, Professor Thomas Muller, and our own alumni of App Weekly News, Ayanna Willoughby.
The medallion is named after the university's 2nd president, Dr. William H. Plemons. It awards leaders in staff, faculty, and student categories. Nominations are sought from the community, and the Board of Trustees awards the recipients.
Now, a spotlight on the winners. Jason Marshburn is an App State Director of Environmental Health, Safety, and Emergency Management and is, quote, a tireless advocate for the student experience, according to nominators. Marshburn is also a main reason for App State being named a state vaccination site.
Dr. Thomas Mueller is an advertising professor in the Department of Communication and chairs the Active Living Residential Learning Community for students interested in wellness. Dr. Mueller also works heavy with university housing and has been a part of activities such as going to the locals farmers market, hiking, and participating in campus cleanups.
Ayanna Willoughby is a former reporter for the Appalachian Weekly News and the Appalachian. Willoughby was also a part of creating a campaign about student health and volunteering with wellness and prevention services. Congratulations once again to our winners. And that's a report this week. I'm Xanayra Marin-Lopez.
And I'm Stephen Biddix.
For all of us at Appalachian Weekly News, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.